In this experiment, we investigated how mechanical energy in a bench press depends on weight and how lifting performance compared using body weight, different training styles, specifically targeted around the flat bench press and incline bench press. The goal is to connect the real-world lifting to fundamental physics concepts such as force, work, and energy transfer.
Mechanical work in physics is described as a transfer of energy that occurs when a force causes an object to move over a distance. In the case of a bench press, the lifter generates an upward force using their chest, shoulders, and triceps to counteract the force due to gravity. The standard equation for mechanical work is W equals to mgd, m being the mass, g being gravity, and d being the distance of the barbell. The equation shows that mechanical work increases when either the weight or the vertical distance increases.
To apply this concept, we measured the vertical distance the bar travels, which is our arm length, which is approximately 50 centimeters or 0.5 meters for each repetition. We then perform multiple sets at increasing weights and record the number of repetitions for each set. Using this data, we calculated both work per repetition and the total work for each set. Enough with the intro, now let's get into the physics.
Woo! It's showtime! Woo!
Here, Ben is performing the flat bench press, starting with 165 pounds and progressing up to 205 pounds. Even though each repetition looks similar, the amount of work being done increases with heavier sets.
Because the distance remains constant, the increase in work is entirely due to the increase in mass. For example, lifting 205 pounds requires significantly more force than lifting 165 pounds, which results in a higher amount of mechanical work per repetition. However, total work is not just about the weight. It can also depend on the amount of repetition I do. In some cases, lighter weights performed for more repetitions can result in a higher amount of total work than heavier weights performed for fewer repetitions.
Here, Ben is performing the incline bench press at about a 35-degree incline, using slightly lighter weights. Even though this motion looks similar, the incline changes how the exercise feels in the distance and the overall work of the exercise.
From a physics standpoint, the angle does not significantly change the mechanical work, as long as the vertical displacement remains the same. Gravity acts downward, so only the vertical height of the lift matters in the calculation. However, because our arm length does not change at all, it will continue to be constant at 0.5 meters, and therefore the calculation will not change from a flat bench to an incline bench.
Because of this, we do not use the cosine function in our calculations. We directly measure the vertical displacement so the work done against gravity remains constant. That is why we use the sine function. In these clips, I'm performing the flat bench press. I do not bench as much as Ben, but I did what I could. I did from 95 to 135 pounds just to get a minimum from 6 to 8 reps. Just like before, the vertical displacement stays constant, allowing us to isolate the effect of weight on mechanical work.
Even though the weights are different, the same equation applies. As a mass increases, the force required increases as well, and the work done per repetition also increases. To find the total amount of work, you multiply mgd, which is work, by the total amount of reps. So that will tell you how to find work total.
This demonstrates that the relationship between the weight and mechanical energy is consistent, regardless of the individual performing the lift. Even if I'm benching 135 and Ben's benching 205, that calculation will still be the same.
Stephen also performed the incline bench press at the same 35-degree angle with lighter weights.
But once again, the incline does not significantly change the calculated mechanical work because the vertical displacement rate remains the same. However, just like before, the incline feels more difficult due to the changes in muscle activation and stabilization requirements. Just like how in flat bench press we're using our whole chest, in incline bench press we're using just our shoulders and our top chest.
Struggled. He's got 1 point. Julian!
We're not gonna be incline bench no more. For our next, I swear to God, I'm gonna kill you. I swear to God. I hit you in the head, dude.